back. This is Techmath1. We're looking at chapter 8, specifically 8.6. We're in the blue book and on page 341. So equivalent forms, we're just going to do one in this section. Let's look at number 66 on page 342. We have b over y multiplied by something equals y squared, and then they have a question mark on the top. All right, and then the other one is 1 over 4a is equal to, multiplied by something, is equal to, let's see, what do they want? 12a squared. Okay, so all you're doing here is, you've done this before, likely. You found common denominators, then you had to multiply top and bottom by the same number. So this, we would multiply top and bottom by y, and so that would be by over y squared. This, to get from 4a to 12a squared, I'd have to multiply it by 3, 4 times 3 is 12, and then a times a is a squared. So if I multiply 3a on the bottom, I multiply 3a on the top, and there we go. That's what they're doing there. All right, so then we're on to 8.7. And that looks like finding lowest common denominators. Well, there you go. That's what I just said we were talking about. So look, it says, if I wanted to add up on 71, if I wanted to add up 3/4 and 9/10 and 1/12, well then 4 breaks down into 2 times 2, 10 breaks down into 2 times 5, and 12 breaks down into 2 times 3, right? Because 4 times 3 is 12. So those are called that's called its prime factorization. Prime factorization. And what we do with prime factorizations now are we find things they have in common. So the LCD is the lowest number they both go into, the lowest common denominator. Sometimes it's called the LCM, also lowest common multiple. But because it's on the bottom of the fraction, we're calling it the lowest common denominator. So what we do is we find any matches, and then we take them. And even if it's only matched between 2 of them like this, for LCD we can do that. You take them, and then you take all the leftovers. You don't leave anybody behind. And that should be the lowest number that 4 goes into, that 10 goes into, that 12 goes into. So let's see, what is that? That's 4 times 3 is 12, and then 12 times 5 is 60. So 60 is my LCD. 60 is the lowest number that 4 will go into, that 10 will also go into, that 12 will also go into. It is 60. So then, if I wanted to then add up those numbers, let's do that. I mean, we found the LCD. We may as well finish the problem. They don't in your book, but we will right now for your notes. All right. So you put the 60s down there. That's what the LCD is. And now you go back up here and say, okay, wait. What do I have to take 4 times to get to 60? And you can even use your work here, because look, this is 4. You take that out, and that's times 15. So times 15 times 15. So 3 times 15 is 45. All right, 10 times what gives you 60? Well, that would be 6. So that's a 54 up there. And then 12 times what gives you 60? Well, that would be 5. And then you do the same on the top, 5. So there we are, 45 and 54. What is that? 99 plus 5 is 104. 60ths. And then we reduce it. I could divide by 2 for sure, right? And that is 52 over 30. So that means I could have went by 2 again here. So what is that? 26 over 15, and I think that's where the show stops because, right, we've got 3 times 5, and neither one of those will go into 26. So there you go. Let's look at another one on 8-7. Number 75. So 75, again, they don't want me to actually add it, so these will just go and find their LCD. So they just want the LCD there. And 1 over 3p and 1 over 5r. So again, they just want the LCD. And y over 15m and 9 over 10t. And they just want the LCD. So here the LCD, those are relatively prime. That means they don't have anything in common. So how we took these leftovers, the 3 and the 5, those are basically leftovers. There's nothing in common, so the leftovers are the LCD. Same going on here. They're relatively prime. They don't have anything in common. This is 3 times p, that is 5 times r. So you just multiply them, 15 pr. This one is a little different. So 15m, that we could break down into 3 times 5 times m. And 10t, that we could break down into 2 times 5 times t. So they do have something in common. They've got that 5 in common. So put the 5 down, and then we take all the leftovers. Times 2 times 3 times m times t. And so what is that? 10 times 3 is 30 mt. All right. So those are our LCDs. Swell. There are swell CDs. Okay, let's look at 8-8. So 8-8, addition and subtraction with unlike denominators. So again, we're just going to do one of those out of the section because I'm sure you've seen these already in your lives. So this and this. So these are both weird ones. So let's find the LCD. The LCD here is PQ. So that means I want PQ on the bottom and I want PQ on the bottom. So this one needs to multiply by Q. So we get 2Q on the top. This one I have to multiply by P. And 3P on the top. And then I really can't do anything further. Honestly, if you just put this down as an answer, that's fine. If you want, you can write it like this. But really, mathematically, this is the same thing. Those are identical. Those are unlike terms, so I can't really add or subtract them. And so they really like to write it all as one fraction, like this. Oh wait, there's a minus there. So I guess they got it both ways. They got it this way and that way. Either one is fine. So this is my, that's v. So again, the LCD is myv. myv. So this one needs a v multiplied top and bottom. That one needs an my multiplied top and bottom. And again, we won't be able to do anything with it. That is it. You can write it like this, myv, but it really doesn't change much. So, oh wait, that was a T, not a 1. Sorry. I was like, where did they get a T from? So that was TV. TV. That's where they got the T from. All right. Awesome, awesome. Then on to 8-9. Let's take a look at 8-9. I want to do 94. So 94, that is on page 352. So we got 3 over t minus 1 is equal to 3 over t minus. So when you have a 1, you can just make it whatever the denominator you need and just duplicate it. Put it on top and bottom. T divided by t is 1. So again, we can't really advance that problem. It's 3 minus t over t. Or, like I said before, you could just leave it like this. That would be fine. This is what the book prefers, I think. So either one's fine. Next one, h plus pv is equal to something plus pv. Well, that something then is I need a v on the bottom. And so if I need that to match that denominator, I multiply the top and bottom by the same thing. And so that's it. This is my answer, or this is my answer. Alrighty. Lovely. Let's look at a 10. How are we doing for time? Okay, we can get a 10 knocked out anyway. So 10, number 97, they have 5m plus 3t over 8. And they have cd minus pq over mt. And this time, they want us to kind of split up the band. So just like how we had it, what I just erased, where you could write them individually or you could write them all under the same roof like this, we could split up the band here and write it like that. I mean, we can't advance the problem anymore with that one. You can't reduce it. But sometimes when you do that, you'll be able to reduce like a fraction or something like that. So that's just demonstrating. Look at that. We can write it as two separate terms instead of as like, two terms over the same denominator. Alrighty? Like I said, usually if you're doing that for a reason. You're doing that to reduce it. Alright, next video then we'll do 8:11 through 8:15.